Hi YouTube! Today I'll be showing you how to get through the Geo Caves and kill the Acklay completely solo as a Padawan for the Jedi Knight Trials. Yes, I did D-rank to a Padawan just to make this video. Anyway, please note that this guide is specifically for the Infinity server, as there are a lot of custom changes here that might be different from other pre-CU servers. This is arguably the hardest part of the Night Trials, especially because on Infinity, you have to deal majority of the damage in order to get kill credit. This basically means it's more difficult or awkward to get carried by a group. So I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret that will trivialize almost all PvE content in SWG. And honestly, it boggles my mind that even to this day, most people don't know about this. So, the secret is making yourself immune to knockdown. That's it. So, if you don't know, when you get knocked down, not only do you take bonus damage while you're laying down on your back, but you're also silenced for 5 seconds. Yes, you heard me correctly. You cannot use any abilities, including any heals, for 5 seconds. And this basically means death. So, how can you get immune to knockdown, you ask? Well, that's easy. You just need to hit the magic number, which is 145 defense versus knockdown. Unlike other stats that cap at 125, the formula for knockdown works differently, and you need 145 to become immune. Don't ask me why it's coded this way, but that's just what it is. And honestly, this is actually quite easy to achieve. You get 25 defense versus knockdown from clothing attachments, and you get 100 from Thack, and 20 from Corellian Brandy. And if you do the math, 25 plus 100 plus 20, that's it, 145. Congratulations, you have now trivialized almost all PvE content in the game. Since we're on the topic, let's quickly go over the consumables you're going to need to bring. First, you're going to obviously need the Thack and Corellian Brandy that I've already mentioned. Next, you should bring some Exo Protein Wafers just in case of an emergency. Next, I like to bring Bofa Treats and Garmoral. You're going to see me just eating and snacking on these throughout the run. It helps pre-stack up your health, and they last a long time, so by the time you get to Acklay, you're going to have like an extra 1000 health, basically for free. Just if you just munch on these Bofa Treats and Garmoral throughout the run. Spice Tea, I like to use a little bit right before the Acklay fight, just to give me a little bit of extra mind, just to make the fight a little bit more comfortable. And then lastly, you can use Neutron Pixie. It also gives you an extra health and action boost. You can also use it with Smuggler's Delight to prevent the downer. Next, let's talk about your template. I personally would always recommend some variation of a Master Powers template. Master Powers is insanely strong on this server, and you'll see I'm going through my template now. I'll also put my template up on screen so you can see it, but Master Powers is just really strong on this server, and I can't recommend it enough. Other templates can also do fine, but Master Lightsaber is not gonna be as good, especially on this server. But honestly, you can play whatever you like. The content's not that difficult. I'm also gonna show here that I'm just using a regular 50 damage lightsaber pearl, first generation. So Master Powers uses a first generation typically, and your damage is based on your average pearl damage. So having one single pearl is the most optimal way to maximize your damage as powers. Another change on this server is that the codes for the Geo Caves change every time the server restarts. So that means anytime the server crashes or receives an update, the codes will change, and you'll have to get brand new codes every time. Typically each set of codes will last a few weeks, give or take, just depending on when the last restart was. And it's not like other servers where you can just always use the same codes. So I'll be showing you how to go get those codes as well. And for this first code, it's pretty easy. You just have to kill these two mobs here, And then once they're dead, you can just talk to the NPC that's standing right at the entrance, and they will give you the first door code. I also like to use my in-game notepad to keep all these codes written down. You can access it by typing /no or /note, and it'll open up the notepad. I use the notepad for a ton of things, and I have a section there for all the codes as well. So that's how I usually keep track of it. So once you get that code, go ahead and just run past these mobs. They might aggro to you, but just keep running. They don't do that much damage. You should be able to tank them. We're gonna go through the first door here. Once you get to the door, double click on the keypad, type in the passcode you got, go in, and you're gonna want to kill the NPCs. Looks like these NPCs are fighting. I probably didn't need to kill these, but just out of habit, I just killed them. Not a big deal. And if you stat aggro from the other NPCs from above, then you could just group everything up and kill them all here. Once everything's defeated, you can talk to this NPC here to get the second door code. And again, I add that to my notepad here. But the second door code the second door is right behind you, so there's the keypad, you just put in the code right there. I'll try to have my overhead map open for some of this just so you can see where I'm going, but just go where I go, and then we're gonna go get the next door code. Just gonna run past all these mobs here, and we're gonna have another group of mobs down here that we're gonna have to kill. Alright, once all the mobs are dead, you're gonna go and talk to the NPC in the room. The NPC will give you some options, although I don't get any dialogue options because I did this yesterday and I'm still on cooldown. But the NPC will give you some options, just click through it. It'll give you the 10 loss DXR schematic, as well as the code for, it's called the mini Acklay room, or that's what we commonly refer to it as. But you'll see the room. I'll show you in a bit. Alright, so in here we're going to talk to this NPC in the corner. This NPC in the corner is going to give you another passcode. This is the code to the mercenary room. So again, just going to add that to our notepad. And this next door we're coming up to, this is the mercenary room, so we're going to put that code we just got into this pad, data pad, and go straight on through. And throughout this entire run, we are going to skip majority of the bosses. There are in total 7 bosses in here. Several custom bosses were added, but we really only have to kill one other boss to get to Acklay. But we're gonna pretty much skip everything else. So this is the mini Acklay room that I was telling you about earlier. So you're gonna want to put the code from the other NPC with the clicknicks, and then you talk to the NPC in here to get the code for the Nightsister clone room. And in the room that we're in right now, you can spawn the mini Acklay. It doesn't count for the night trials, but you can kill it just for loot if you want to. But obviously we're not going to do that just for the sake of the Jedi Knight Trials. So using the code that we just got from the mini Acklay room, the Nightsister room is coming up right here. I'm going to punch in that code, and this is the only boss that we actually have to defeat in order to get the codes to get to Acklay. So open this door, and then we're gonna defeat this mini boss. Alright, once the Nightsister clone has been defeated, talk to this NPC over here and get the next code. And you can write this down as well. This is going to be to the we call it the Jedi room, the room right before Acklay. So I'll go ahead and write that down. Just be a little careful on this part. This part is a little bit dangerous. These spiders do poison, and you can get kind of a lot of mobs in here. This is arguably one of the harder parts of the run. Just gotta be careful. Just watch your health and just try to stay topped off. Keep everything intimidated, and you should be good. Again, with this next pull, you don't want to pull too many at once. Just try to pull a group and just pull them back and get them all come forward. You may also notice I didn't loot the previous mob or the previous corpses, and that's because I want to prevent them from respawning. When you loot their corpses, they do respawn quicker, and just in case it takes you a little longer to kill these, I prefer not to loot them just in case, because you definitely don't want to deal with respawns if you're struggling and if you need extra time to kill these. Alright, now this is going to be the last pull before we get to the next room. So I just try to group everything up together, just use the corners and just try to stack them all up so you can AoE everything down. You'll see me kind of bounce back and forth from wall to wall so I can get everything nice and lined up so I can AoE everything down. Alright, now you're going to need the code you got from the Nightsister clone room. You're going to put that in here. And then you're going to want to just slowly just clear out this next room. And again, don't loot the corpses if you want to have more time before respawns. So just slowly just go through and pull and kill everything. Just don't pull too much so you don't risk dying. Alright, once the room is mostly clear, you're going to want to go up the ramp to that second level. That's where you're going to get the final code to the Acklay room. So I would just, I turn around and I just grab everything because I got to kill those to get to the Acklay room anyway, so might as well just group them all together here. And so you're going to get everything and defeat these, and there's an NPC at the top who will give you the code to the final room. Alright, now we can get the code to the Acklay room. can write that code down as well, just so you have it for future reference if you decide you want to come back. And we'll make our way down to the Acklay room. Alright, now we're coming up to the final room. This is another like semi-dangerous pull. Just need to be careful, there are a lot of mobs in here, and you can take a lot of damage. Just make sure you intimidate everything, just play safe, and again, don't loot if you just want to have a little bit extra time before they respawn. Alright, once you've cleared the room out, you're going to see a terminal on the side of the wall. It looks like a bounty hunter terminal, and that's how you spawn the Acklay. So before you go, make sure you got your shields refreshed and everything, and you're going to use power up on the terminal. That's going to spawn a bunch of mobs. So what I like to do is I like to drag them out of the room, because Acklay is going to spawn in the middle of the room within like maybe a minute. I don't know exactly how long it is, but you just want to pull everything out so that Acklay doesn't come with it, because then that's going to be really hard to deal with. So we're going to defeat these mobs first. Alright, once everything's defeated, you should see Acklay by itself in the middle of the room. Now this is where you're going to want to take your knockdown food. You're going to want to take both your Thack and your Corellian Brandy. You want to make sure you take both of them, and that way you won't get knocked down. Be mindful if you have a shorter duration Thack that it might actually fall off before the end of the kill. So you may have to just check your buff box just to make sure that you don't run out of Thack mid-fight, because you would hate to get knocked down and die when Acklay is at like 10% health. So definitely don't want to do that. I'm trying to get some screenshots here for the thumbnail, so I'm turning off my UI, but you can see the Acklay is not really doing that much damage to me, especially because I'm trying to keep Intimidate up the whole time. And this template is also pretty tanky as well, so you really don't have to worry too much. But we're going to drag Acklay back to this hallway and into this little corner here. I found that this is the best spot because if and when the mobs do respawn, there's only one Kui that will respawn in this spot, so it's going to be easy to deal with. You don't want to deal with all the Clicknicks if they respawn, so this I found to be the best spot to tank Acklay. You cannot actually drag Acklay out of the room. If you try to drag Acklay back to the previous room, it will enrage and it'll like 1 or 2 shot you. So don't do that. just fight it right here in this room. That's all you need to do. Alright, here it looks like the Kui has respawned as expected. We're just gonna switch to the Kui. It has a lot lower health. Just keep the Acklay intimidated, but then just focus on killing the Kui. That way we can swap back to the Acklay and finish this up. But as you can tell, the fight is pretty uneventful. It's, you know, not that bad. Just make sure you watch your health. Make sure you watch your foods. Don't let back drop. And just don't let your health get too low. And honestly, this is a pretty easy solo. Alright, and that is it. That is how you solo the Acklay as a Padawan for your Jedi Knight trials. You can run out of the instance and just do everything we just did in reverse, but it does take a little bit because you're going to have to fight through a lot of mobs. The easy way out is actually to go in this corner, and if you log out for at least 5 minutes, then you'll actually get teleported out of the instance. So first let's go ahead and just kill everything here. Now that everything's dead, before I log out, I do like to just open my overhead map and just look for any blue or purple dots, just in case there's any bounty hunters that are like gonna come after me. Doesn't hurt to be extra safe, so it doesn't look like there's anybody, so I can just go ahead and log out, and see you in 5 minutes.
5 minutes later.
Alright, we are back. I actually waited 6 minutes. I like to wait an extra minute to make sure I get the teleport. And now you should be outside and home free. Good luck with the rest of your Jedi Knight trials, and good luck with the rest of your journey to Jedi Master. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. I do respond to all questions, even if it's been years since this video was posted. I should still be around to answer questions, so feel free to ask. I hope this guide was helpful, and thanks for watching.